Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over all the Eastern Conference All Stars that were selected for the 2025 season. Um, so I'm just going to be going over like why they might have been an All Star, maybe who didn't deserve to be an All Star, and then also maybe add like three selections of who I think could have been an All Star. I think that there should be 15 All Stars in each conference, just because 30 teams. There's also 15 players for the All NBA awards. So I think if you double that, you'd obviously have 30 for the All Stars. So first off, it looks like we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Damian Lillard, Evan Mobley, and Pascal Siakam. So we have some new faces here. Evan Mobley, Tyler Hero, and Cade Cunningham are all first-time All-Stars. So we can look into the standings real quick and see why that might be. Let me go over. Okay. So we see here for the first seeded Cavs have three All-Stars. The Celtics have two, Knicks two, Pacers one, Bucks two, Heat one, and Pistons one as well. Magic would have two, Hawks maybe one, Bulls could have two possibly, Sixers three, Nets 0 to 1, Raptors I think they could have possibly 2 to 3, Hornets could possibly have two, and the Wizards none. So it is all in the top seven seeds. Do I think that that is fully fair? No, but I can understand why some people might base their all-star selections off the seeded ranking. Personally, I think that like a player like Trae Young on the Hawks actually has a lot of potential. Not only that, like he's one of the greatest players who like isn't an all-star every year. I know that recently tweeted that it was called getting trade. Bulls, I don't know. They just a lot of these lower seeded teams, whether it's like injury or just people not believing that you should be an all-star when your team isn't performing well, can definitely have an effect on that. So I guess first off, we'll look at Giannis. So here, 32 points, 12 boards, and 6 assists. He's been an all-star many times, all NBA, MVP. So we know that he definitely deserves this. It's been fairly healthy throughout the season. Brunson, 26, 3, and 7.5. I believe his first All-Star was last year, All NBA as well. Yep. So he obviously deserves this. So I'm not gonna take anything away from him. Other than that, the Knicks would be a little better. Donovan Mitchell, I'm gonna keep this one up here, just because I feel like not that he's been going through a slump this year, but he's just kind of been relaxing a little bit more, and that's fine. Cavs have been winning, but do I think that he deserves to be an all-star? It's debatable, with lower numbers. Yeah, we'll talk about that more. Jason Tatum, 27, 9, arguably, and 6 roughly. So obviously he's all NBA, been an all-star. Some people think he should be MVP some years. So yeah, he definitely deserves this all-star. Celtics have been iffy recently, but yeah. Karl Anthony Towns should have been an all-star in a few of the past years, but wasn't, just because of the West, I guess. But now that he's here in the East, we can see he's putting up 24, 13.5, and 3. Great numbers. Definitely playing a big role in the Knicks. Even like I said before, even though they should be winning a few more games. Jaylen Brown, not his best numbers that he's had, 23, 6, and 5. They're still like decent all-star numbers, maybe good. But I'm just going to leave him up as well just because I feel like some players who haven't received an all-star this year are kind of like close in numbers to him. So it might be kind of like debatable in that department. Cade, first-time all-star. He's putting up crazy numbers this year, 25.5, 6, and 9. I think this is arguably well-deserved. I don't really know too much about the Pistons just because they had their atrocious year last year, but it seems like he's definitely starting to find his way. Garland, I'm going to leave him up as well. Um, Still lower numbers. He was an all-star in the past. But again, with the Cavs just having like so many players who can contribute, it's kind of tough to put up big numbers. So 22, 2.5, and 7. Like not the best numbers. Very comparable numbers to other players. But yeah, we'll compare that in a minute. Tyler Hero, first-time all-star. He's been putting the heat not on his back necessarily, but definitely been doing more than he normally does. 24, 5.5, and 5.5. Yeah, so well-deserved all-star. Jimmy not really playing too much recently due to the 3 suspensions, and Bam just having a slump year. Dame, he's been playing a lot better this year since he's joined the Bucks. 25, 4.5, and 7.5. Yeah, well-deserved all-star. Not a starter this year, which was a bit of an issue last year, but Evan Mobley, this one of the weaker all-stars, only 18 points, 9 boards, and 3 assists. He has a very similar stat numbers to other players, so I would just be comparing those as well. And then Pascal Siakam, very low numbers, 27 and 3. This is the first player that I would say I would remove their position of all-star and give it to somebody else. So looking into this, we have Trae Young. This is the first player that I would select as an all-star, whether that be as a replacement for a player like Pascal Siakam or just as just like an addition, like one of the 3 people that I would add to have 15 total. Obviously, Trae has been passed over the past couple of years now. Even when he's averaging 23, 3, and 11.5, those are great numbers. His team hasn't been playing the best. Obviously, we know that he's shooting a little bit worse from 3. But yeah, he's the first person that I would select. Next up, Tyrese Maxey, 28, 3, and 6. Has been having to score more, shoot more, just from Embiid and PG both being out. Obviously, we saw what he can do last year scoring-wise, and this year he's, I wouldn't say taking it to another level, but surpassed that, although it is on worse shooting percentages. But I still do think that he deserves to be an all-star. I would probably replace Evan Mobley with Maxey, or just give Maxey that 14 slot. Mobley, not that he's been playing bad, but when you're the 4th scorer or 3rd scorer on the team, obviously Mobley's been doing great defensively, but I don't know. Scotty Barnes would be the next up in line for the player who I would give an all-star to. 28 and 6. Hasn't really hit that 20 point per game scoring yet, but hopefully he will be hitting that in the future. Still young, but I do think that he does deserve to be an all-star this year. Better numbers than Mobley, and I guess after Mobley, the next person that I would remove from being an all-star would be Darius Garland. So yeah, I would give Scotty that position of all-star. Yeah, get rid of Tyler Hero. I would keep him. And Jaylen Brown as well. I would keep him. Over Donovan Mitchell and Garland, I'd keep both those players. But yeah, so Garland would definitely be replaced by Scotty Barnes. After this, it does get a little bit weird. Just because I think that a lot of players do have similar stats to Garland and Evan Mobley, like Bam. 16, 10, and 4. That's very similar to Barnes. 18, 9, and 3. So very similar. Same thing with Vucevic. 19.5, 10.5, and 3.5. I know Vooch isn't the same scorer or defender as Bam and Evan Mobley, but I would argue that he's a better offensive player than both of them. And I think that would slightly put him above both of them for the All-Star selection. Bam just having a slump this year, but I think that's all that it needs for Vooch to be ahead of them. Um, Not only that, I think that uh, what's his name? Zach Levine is having a very similar year to Darius Garland. Um, Both are shooting a lot from three, just similar numbers. I mean, obviously Garland has more assists, Levine has more rebounds and more points. So very similar, but I think that Vucevic is playing better than Levine. That is why I would actually put him ahead. I guess that would be the fifth person that I would select. So RJ would be fourth, Vooch fifth. And then so now I just wanted to add in, this is a couple days later, but Giannis is out of the All-Star game due to an injury. Trey Young is his replacement. And then just like recovering everything as a whole. So now that we have Trey Young in, I still want to remove Pascal Siakam. And then I guess I would replace him with Scotty Barnes. And then my three extra picks would be Tyrese Maxey, RJ Barrett, and then I was kind of struggling between, I feel like, Vucevic and Bam Adebayo. I did have Levine in contention as well, but now that he's in the West, I kind of just pushed that under the rug and kind of forgot about it. And then also like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Mobley. Like I thought Donovan Mitchell was playing the best, then Garland, then Mobley. But when I just look at it, it's like depending on how much you value the defense, it's like, okay, maybe Mobley could be the best, then Mitchell, then Garland, or I don't know. So it's just like a throw up, depending on what you want. They all are playing pretty much close to the same. But obviously we know that like Mitchell can go up and be better than that. So it's like, why is he just slacking? Does he deserve it? But yeah, so final recap, remove Pascal, put in Scotty Barnes, Trey Young was replacing Giannis, and then just have Maxey, RJ Barrett, and I guess Vucevic in there as well as my three extra picks. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one when we do the West.